Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Brokopondo in Suriname. If you don't know, Suriname is located in the north of South America, which is always kind of tricky to say sometimes. You can see this is I guess you would say the Caribbean coast, but at that point it's more of the Atlantic Ocean coast. I guess it's technically both, in a sense, isn't it? Now, normally I would draw out the borders of this district with my pencil on the map, but the borders of this district pretty much are like this. They correspond to this reservoir right here. This is the Afobaka Reservoir. And yeah, the borders are pretty much just around there, so you kind of get the idea. This district, like the rest of Suriname, is covered by the Amazon rainforest. So it's very thickly forested, especially down in the south, right here, just below the lake. And this reservoir, which is actually one of the largest reservoirs in the world, it's located on the Suriname River that flows up into the capital, Paramaribo, here on the coast. Yeah, this reservoir is bigger than like Three Gorges Reservoir made by the Three Gorges Dam. This is bigger. Lake Mead, which is created by the Hoover Dam. This is bigger. What else? Itaipu's reservoir. This is bigger. Isn't that crazy? It's a very huge man-made lake made by, of course, the Afobaka Dam. The Afobaka right there. Let's quickly get through the history here because it's not terribly long, so that we can go check out this area for ourselves on Google Earth. So there was a very large indigenous population within the interior of Suriname, many different people groups living here, but the more famous, well-known groups were along the coast. There were, of course, the Arawak, which were conquered by the Carib. The Caribbean Sea is named after them. They wound up conquering many areas of the Caribbean Sea and the northern South American coast. So I couldn't find exact numbers on which groups would have lived here. What I did find, though, was more toward the late 1700s into the 1800s was the Maroon population. Now, who are the Maroons? The origin of Maroon culture, at least in Suriname, because there's many different Maroon cultures around the Caribbean and throughout South America. It originates with slavery, people being forced over from African countries to work in plantations. If any of those people managed to escape, say they were here in Paramaribo, they would flee into the jungle, right, into the rainforest here. And communities sprang up, cultures sprang up, mixing with the other indigenous peoples here, sprang up and created the Maroon cultures. Their own distinct, I want to say language, but it's more like different Creole accents in a sense. I guess it's like language. Traditions, customs, clothing, ways of life, culture, etc., etc. There are many different Maroon groups in this area. They're pretty much the only population in this district until the discovery of gold in the late 19th century, the end of the 19th century, when more people came down to pan for gold here on the river. Now, the idea for this dam came up in the 1950s. However, like we discussed, there were many different villages throughout this area here. But the dam would be more of a positive since this dam powers pretty much like the entirety of this area of Suriname's electricity naturally, right? So it was kind of a net positive for Suriname, but not great if you lived here. So many different towns were established along the coasts here. You can't see them on this map, but there's a bunch over here that we'll look at. There's, of course, Afobaka was established in the 1960s. Brokopondo was established, I think, in 1958. Various other towns in the 1950s. They would create these towns for people to pack up and move into between 1958 and 1964. The dam was completed in 1964. And yeah, you will see on Google Earth there's an interesting landscape here because it's not a very deep reservoir. I think I read that the deepest is 13 feet, which I don't know what that is in meters. I'm sorry. That's deep, but it's not massively deep. You know, it's about like two full-grown men stacked on top of each other deep. But deep enough to bury houses, so you can see where little towns once stood. I think there's one town up here you can still see a church spire and lots of trees sticking out of the reservoir as well. It's kind of haunting. The only other significant history fact I found about Brokopondo was during the Suriname Interior War, which was pretty much a civil war. Yeah, I would call that a civil war between 1986 and 1992. Most of the fighting was in the eastern part of the country, particularly up here. Not so much over here in Brokopondo, even though it was a maroon group that was fighting against the government, known as the Jungle Commandos. But Brokopondo was used for IDPs, internally displaced people, or people who were just fleeing, in a sense, from the violence here. And there is a community established up here and down here along the shores of the reservoir here, so that people could live safely and quietly until the conflict ended. Other than that, this area is really big on tourism. There's all different kinds of resorts and eco-lodges here, so people can experience the Amazon rainforest. They can go on hikes to see some of the beautiful waterfalls, and of course explore the lake here. Gold mining is still a pretty profitable industry. It seems that more and more gold sites get discovered throughout the years. We'll look at some evidence of it in the south here, but a lot of it happens mostly over here, I want to say. So that's still going on, and in a nutshell, that's about all that I could find for the history of the Brokopondo district. So let's hop over to Google Earth and see what we can find here. Here we are in Brokopondo district. And let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. Here is Suriname. In northern South America, you can see Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, and there's French Guiana right there, part of France. And then, like I said, here's the Caribbean, and then there's Suriname. So yeah, I would say that's the Atlantic Ocean at that point. It'd be kind of hard-pressed to call that the Caribbean, even though, I kind of figure wherever there is Carib culture, that's part of the Caribbean, in a sense, but I guess not geographically on a map, right? But anyway, that's where we are tonight. And yes, as you can see the whole reservoir here pretty much taking up the majority of the district. You can see the Suriname River flowing up here, getting wider and wider until it spills out into the reservoir. And then, let's see, I assume going up, here it is, heading up to the ocean. Now, where to start? We should start just looking at the shoreline, because I discussed this at one point, I believe in Turkey, I discussed this. How you can tell the difference between a man-made lake and a natural lake. And you can see all of these little stems sticking out like roots of a plant, right? almost like a brain, you know what I mean? This weird, craggy kind of shape on the sides there. That is how you can tell it is man-made. These were, little mountains, crevices here that filled up quickly, not filled up over time, whereas, a lake that fills up over time is more rounded and smooth because it's been there for so long. This was filled rather rapidly and quickly, so you can still see where little mountain passages once existed. Also creates all of these neat little islands here because, like I said, it's deep but not excessively so. You can see some of the resorts popping up there on the islands. I guess we should start in Brokopondo, shouldn't we? The town that this place is named after. You can see the dam here that created the reservoir, and there's the water. Ooh, at night it's pretty cool, isn't it? Beautiful trees, landscape. Yeah, it's really just all about the lake around here from what I could tell. Brokopondo. And here is Afobaka, officially where the resort is, or the resort, I was reading the thing, the dam is located here. Lots of beautiful viewpoints here. Saw another one pop up. We'll take a look at that. There's a cool island. Yeah, just lots of lakey stuff tonight. Yeah, lots of lakey stuff. Let's see. Brokopondo Mirror Viewpoint. It is really pretty, isn't it? Bright and blue. Standing on the rocks there. Little village right there. The shoreline. Balancing precariously. Lots of boats ready to set sail as well. And I guess lots of little shops around there as well. I can point out, I found out through some Googling. Let me find one actually. We gotta kind of zoom in because some of the towns are still pointed out, like this one. This town does not exist anymore. An abandoned settlement. It was located along the Sara Creek and used to be inhabited by Maroons. The village was flooded in 1964 after the construction of the Afobaka Dam. So there's a couple of those listed on here on Google Earth, which is, very respectful, I suppose. Brownsburg is a national park, nature park, close enough. That is really big on the tourist radar here. Beautiful waterfalls, of course, lots of hiking and recreation here. Some little, looks like guinea hens. I'm not sure, but they're cute. Some monkey friends up there. Should say that the main language in Suriname, if you didn't know, is Dutch. Since it was settled by the Dutch and was property of the Netherlands for a very long time. Sweet frog. I'd be careful around frogs here in the Amazon. Oh, and a snaky. Sorry about that. There's a lot of Dutch still spoken here. This is the main language. Sorry for my tongue. My goodness. This is the most famous waterfall here, if I can pull it up. It's very beautiful. My guess is that's probably the easiest one to access here in the jungle. Hence why it's the most popular, but it is very lovely, isn't it? My tummy's on a roll tonight. Sorry if you can hear all those bubbles. Bubbling along with the waterfall. This is a really big resort that in my research, this place kept popping up, Stone Island. I think that's how you pronounce it in English. It looks like in Dutch it's still Stone Island, but look how pretty. And you can see all of the trees there. Because this used to just be jungle, huh? And some newly planted trees along the shore as well. Yeah, all of the trees sticking up. Makes you kind of wonder what it's like under the water. I wonder if they'll let you scuba in here. Or at least snorkel or something in the water so you can see what the trees look like underwater. I wonder. Wow, it's a big one. But yeah, that's the kind of landscape you get when you flood a jungle. You get trees poking out. This is another town that was built. I think this was the first town that was built to replace the towns that would be flooded, if I recall in my research correctly. Look at that big, beautiful tree. So yeah, all of these towns here are relatively new. They are not ancient at all. They are not even 100 years old because they were built before the reservoir. Let's look at this resort, Tonka Island. Let's see what we have here. Oh, it's pretty. It's like you can just step out onto the lake. Oh, look, Amsterdam's that way. Yeah, look at that. They got steps just going out. That's very nice. Let's see this one, Cobble Station. No pictures there. A lot of places here don't have a lot of pictures. Let me see the Brownsburg Plateau, if there's a photo there. Let's see more of like the jungle here. Look at all the little islands. I'm sitting here in the dark, right? I can hear my cat sniffing around. Little monkey up there. Look at all of these pods. I wonder what kind of tree that is. Are there insects in there or just a close-up of a tree? I can't tell. You never can tell in the Amazon, can you? Golden howler, is that what that is? I'm not sure. I hope you can't hear him sniffing around. There's a sweet monkey. And a little lizard friend? I can't tell just by that cropped image. Let's head down to the south. We'll find some more photos in here. Let me see. Here we go. So you can really tell that it gets thick rainforest down here, can't you? But here is Versar Creek, which is a town established for the gold miners, actually. This town was built for them. There's an airstrip here, so you can fly in and pan for gold here out in this wet, watery world. He's ready. He's very ready. And so is he, I guess, to head out to the wilderness. And yeah, I wonder, just based on what this looks like from above, all this being cleared, I suppose, for the gold mining. And these must be, it's in 3D, kind of, pools of water there to pan for gold in, I'm guessing. But yeah, you can see just how much has been cleared for the gold mining. Pretty shocking, but you can see it following the river here. It's as most gold mines do. Pretty interesting. Alright, let's see what else we can find. There weren't a lot of slideshows down here in the south. Let's see. Sika Camp. Nope, didn't think so. This just says dam. Oh, here it is. Oh, I remember this. It's just these two images of what looks like a little hut floating there. I remember that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I found. We can poke around and look a little bit more. You can see some other cleared areas here in the thick jungle, but nothing popping up, huh? That's okay. Let's look at this resort. They're lots of pictures. There's a bit. I suppose we can look at these while we close out the video. As always, I recommend that you head over here on Google Earth in your own time, and if you find anything else that's really cool, let us all know so that we can check it out ourselves. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. We have so many cool photos to look at the next video because we're going to the capital of Brunei. We're going to the region called Brunei Muara, but the capital is not called Brunei Muara. It's not even called Brunei. Do you know the capital of Brunei? Do you? Let me know. Let me unstick myself from this book. Let me know down in the comments. Let's see who gets it first. It's the capital of Brunei. We'll go there tomorrow. Also, while you're down there, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts down there as well. I do hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. There we go. Come on. Thank you. And I hope that you have a good night.